Welcome to Simply Robotics, the podcast, a podcast exploring the animation industry one episode at a time. I'm your host, Monique. You can find me on all social media platforms at Simply Robotics, SIMPLYROBOTIX. And when listening to the show, use the hashtag SimplyRoboticsPod to join in on the conversation. Now, if you can't tell by my background, then maybe you don't know what my background is. Today, we're talking about the Sony Pictures animation film The Mitchells versus the Machines, which premiered on Netflix actually in April of this year, like literally the next to last day of April. So, like I said, it's Sony Pictures Animation. It was directed by Michael Rianda and Jeff Rowe. It's an hour and 54 minutes, so we should just call it 2 hours. So, according to Netflix, or as Netflix says, the plot or synopsis is a robot apocalypse puts the brakes on a family's cross-country road trip. Now it's up to the Mitchells, the world's weirdest family, to save the human race. IMDb says a quirky, dysfunctional family's road trip is upended when they find themselves in the middle of a robot apocalypse, and suddenly they become humanity's unlikeliest last hope. So both of those things are fine. They're cute descriptions. I'm going to take you a little bit through the movie. So there is a family. It's like a cookie cutter family in terms of its two-parent household, couple of kids, and a dog. The oldest kid is a girl, or femme presenting, let's say that, and she's obsessed with film. So she applies to film school and she gets in and she's gonna go away to college. And there's a lot of family dynamic in her leaving the nest to go to college that is really nice to see on the screen. And with parents having to, I guess, send their child out into the world, wanting them to succeed, being afraid for them to be so far, the sibling dynamic of like, you don't want to leave your younger sibling home alone, not home alone, but just like leave them essentially, with the parents, and the younger sister being like, well, you're all I've known. I've never known this home without you. Like, how am I going to navigate all these things? And I love robots, right? Simply Robotics and mechs and all that sort of thing. So what's interesting about the robots in this film is that they're like, basically, if you took your smartphones and just like took the programming and put them in a droid, and of course, when they have AI, what's going to happen? They're going to reprogram your programming and decide, we're going to take over your world because you guys are dumb and you don't appreciate us and technology and all sorts of stuff like that. So, the Mitchells, well, the Mitchells' father, what's his name? Rick? He decides that instead of sending his daughter just off, dropping her off at the airport, they're going to do a road trip. That way they can have family bonding. And really, if it wasn't for him doing that, they would have been captured by the robot apocalypse or whatever. So they end up doing this cross-country road trip. And, thankfully, they were the ones that, I'm saying thankfully, they're like as the description said, the worst family to have to save the human race. But thankfully, there was at least one family that wasn't captured and was able to do what needed to be done. And by the end of it, it's a really touching story. It's a heartwarming story. I found myself relating to, like having this, and I'm going to get into this in the next, not the next podcast episode, but maybe like the next one.